Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to remind you of something the world sometimes tries to make you forget: your strength. And not the kind of strength that is cold, distant, or untouchable. I'm talking about the kind of strength that is human, warm, and alive. The strength that grows not in the absence of struggle, but in the middle of it. Because the truth is, no one wakes up strong. Strength is earned. It's built in the moments you thought you couldn't take one more step, but you did anyway. We've been taught in subtle and not so subtle ways to believe that strong people are the ones who never flinch, never falter, never break down. This belief has shaped how many women judge themselves by how well they can endure pain without showing it, by how perfectly they can keep moving even when they're carrying unbearable weight. But this definition is incomplete. Strength has never been about the absence of struggle. In fact, the very existence of strength depends on the presence of struggle. Just as steel is forged in fire, the truest strength is born in moments of heat, pressure, and resistance. Without challenge, there is nothing to overcome, and without something to overcome, there is no reason to grow. Think about the times in your life when you felt most alive, most powerful, most capable. Were they the days when everything went according to plan? Or were they the days you were tested, the days that demanded more from you than you thought you could give? We don't build muscle by lifting feathers. We build it by lifting what feels heavy. The same principle applies to our emotional and mental strength. It's the heartbreaks, the disappointments, and the unexpected twists in the road that shape us into who we are. Without the struggle, we would never know the full depth of our own resilience. But here's the part many people don't talk about. Struggle doesn't always look heroic while it's happening. Sometimes it looks like sitting in your car crying after work because you feel like you failed. Sometimes it looks like lying awake at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering how you'll get through tomorrow. And yet, these moments, quiet, messy, unseen by the world, are the ones that often define our strength. Because every time you feel like you can't go on, but you still take one small step forward, you are rewriting your own story. You're proving to yourself that you are stronger than the moment trying to break you. And this kind of strength isn't loud. It doesn't always announce itself. It's not always captured in inspirational photographs or polished social media posts. Sometimes it's invisible to everyone except you. It's the kind of strength that grows in the dark, like roots digging deeper into the soil. You might not see it, but it's there, quietly holding you up, giving you the stability you need to weather the next storm. This is why we can't measure strength solely by what others can see. The most unshakable forms of strength are often the ones hidden beneath the surface. Another thing we must understand is that strength and struggle are not enemies, they are partners. Struggle tests you and strength answers, struggle demands, and strength responds. Struggle may bend you, but strength helps you rise again. We often wish the struggle away, wishing for easier paths, lighter loads, smoother roads. But if we were given those, we'd be robbed of the very experiences that allow us to grow into women capable of leading, healing, and inspiring others. It is in the moments you thought you had nothing left, yet still found something, that you became the woman you are today. So when life presents you with trials, do not interpret them as evidence of weakness. Understand instead that they are invitations to discover the depths of your own power. They are opportunities to meet parts of yourself you didn't know existed. They are the training ground where your future self is being shaped. And when you come through them, not untouched, not unchanged, but transformed, you'll understand something that no easy life could ever teach you, that you are strong not because you avoided the storm, but because you learned how to stand in the middle of it and keep breathing. We often grow up in a world that tells us to be strong by hiding our feelings, to keep it together, by never letting others see our fears, and to stand tall by masking our pain. The problem is, this definition of strength actually robs us of one of our greatest sources of connection, vulnerability. Vulnerability is often misunderstood as weakness, as if opening up somehow makes us fragile or incapable. But the truth is, vulnerability is a form of power. It is the courage to be seen exactly as you are, without the layers of perfection, without the mask of I'm fine. And that courage changes everything. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we are taking a risk because there is no guarantee of how others will respond. They might understand and embrace us, or they might misunderstand and reject us. And yet, it's precisely in that uncertainty where the magic of human connection happens. Every great friendship, every deep love, every moment of true understanding begins with someone taking the risk of being open. If we spend our lives hiding our true selves to avoid judgment, we may also end up avoiding the relationships that could have healed and inspired us. There's a quiet kind of bravery in vulnerability. It's the bravery of saying, I'm scared, when you've been taught to stay silent. It's the bravery of admitting, I don't have it all figured out, in a world that rewards the appearance of certainty. And it's the bravery of sharing your story, not the edited version, but the real one, because you know someone out there might see themselves in it and feel less alone. This isn't the kind of courage that wins medals or headlines. It's the kind that changes lives in ways no one else may ever see. The irony is that the very thing we think makes us weak, showing our humanity, is what actually makes us trustworthy, relatable, and strong. People don't connect to the image of perfection. They connect to the truth of imperfection. They don't feel safe around someone who appears untouched by life. They feel safe around someone who has been through storms and is honest about it. Vulnerability is what transforms conversations from surface level exchanges into life-giving moments. It's what turns acquaintances into allies and strangers into friends. Of course, vulnerability doesn't mean you share every detail of your life with everyone you meet. It's not about reckless openness. It's about intentional honesty. It's choosing to show parts of yourself to the right people in the right moments for the sake of building trust, empathy, and real connection. It's about letting others see that you are not a flawless statue, but a living, breathing human being who feels, learns, and grows. That truth is not only freeing for you, it gives others permission to take off their own masks too. And here's the most powerful part: every time you choose vulnerability, you strengthen your own resilience. You prove to yourself that you can survive being seen, that rejection won't destroy you, and that authenticity is worth the risk. You learn that even if someone doesn't respond the way you hoped, your self-worth remains intact. In this way, vulnerability doesn't just connect you to others, it connects you more deeply to yourself. And that connection is the root of a strength that can't be shaken by other people's opinions. There is a moment in every strong woman's life when she realizes that her time, her energy, and her peace are not infinite resources. She begins to understand that if she keeps giving without limits, there will come a day when there's nothing left for herself. That's where boundaries become not just helpful, but essential. Boundaries are not walls to keep the world out. They are gates that decide what and who gets to come in. They are an act of self-respect, a quiet but firm declaration that your life is valuable and you will not hand it over to people who drain it without giving anything back. For many women, setting boundaries feels uncomfortable at first. We're conditioned to please, to say yes, even when we mean no, to stretch ourselves thin in the name of kindness. But there's a truth we must embrace, constantly saying yes, when our soul is begging us to say no, is not kindness, it's self-abandonment. A boundary is not an attack, and it's not a punishment. It's simply the line where your responsibility to others ends and your responsibility to yourself begins. And the more clearly you draw that line, the stronger and more at peace you become. Healthy boundaries also clarify your relationships. When you set them, you quickly see who respects and who only valued you for what you could give them. Some people will understand and even admire your limits. Others will resist, push back, or try to make you feel guilty. But remember, someone's reaction to your boundary says more about them than it does about you. Those who truly care for you will want you to protect your energy because they know a depleted you is not the best version of you. Boundaries are also the safeguard for your mental and emotional health. Without them, resentment grows. You find yourself saying yes with your mouth while your heart is screaming no, and over time, that disconnection erodes your happiness. But when you honor your own limits, you avoid that quiet bitterness. You start showing up for the things you say yes to with genuine energy and joy because they are aligned with your values and capacity. That's the beautiful thing. Boundaries don't just protect your worth, they also protect the quality of the love, time, and care you give to others. It's important to remember that boundaries are not just about people. They're also about habits, commitments, and even your own inner dialogue. Sometimes the boundary you need most is with yourself. It might be deciding not to overwork yourself past exhaustion. It might be choosing to silence that inner voice that constantly criticizes you. Or it might be committing to taking one day a week for rest, even if the world around you keeps running at full speed. These boundaries are just as important as the ones you set with others, because they shape how you treat yourself. Ultimately, boundaries are a declaration of self-worth. They say, I value myself enough to protect my time, my heart, and my peace. They allow you to give from a place of abundance instead of depletion. And here's the truth. When you respect your own boundaries, you teach others how to treat you. You become an example of self-respect in action, and that example empowers other women to do the same. In this way, every boundary you set is not just for you. It's a ripple that extends outward, helping to create a world where women's worth is honored, not exploited. There's a false belief that has been whispered to women for generations that there's only room for a few at the top, that if one woman wins, another must lose. This scarcity mindset has been used to keep us small, divided, and competing instead of uniting. But the truth is, strength is not about climbing to the top alone. Real strength is multiplied when it is shared. Lifting others does not weaken you, it makes you stronger. Supporting another woman's rise doesn't take away from your success, it expands the possibilities for both of you. When a strong woman chooses to lift another, she is planting seeds in a garden she may never personally harvest from. She is choosing to invest in a future where women see one another not as threats, but as allies. This act requires a certain kind of confidence, the kind that is not intimidated by someone else's brilliance, beauty, or talent. Instead, it celebrates it, because when you truly know your own worth, someone else's shine doesn't dim yours, it reflects it. Lifting others can take many forms. It can be as bold as mentoring a younger woman who's just finding her voice, or as quiet as speaking someone's name in a room of opportunity when they're not there to speak for themselves. It can be standing beside a friend during her moment of triumph instead of shrinking away out of envy, or offering a hand to someone who has stumbled instead of silently passing them by. These moments might seem small, but they create waves of impact that stretch far beyond what we can see. There is also an unexpected beauty in what happens when we lift others. We are lifted in return. The world has a way of giving back what we put out. The encouragement you give has a way of finding its way back to you, sometimes in moments when you need it most. And even if it doesn't, the act of helping someone else grow shapes you into a more generous, compassionate, and fulfilled human being. It turns your success into something bigger than just your own story. Of course, lifting others doesn't mean ignoring your own needs or constantly putting yourself last. It means creating a balance where you can support others without abandoning yourself. The most impactful support often comes from women who are rooted in their own strength, who pour into others from a cup that is already full. This way, your encouragement doesn't come from a place of obligation or depletion, but from genuine joy in seeing someone else thrive. And perhaps the greatest truth is this: when women lift women, the ripple effect is unstoppable. One woman encouraged becomes two women empowered, and those two inspire four more, and the cycle continues. It's not just about making an individual difference. It's about shifting the culture, rewriting the narrative, and building a world where women succeed together. This is the kind of strength the world needs now more than ever. Strength that amplifies, multiplies, and creates a legacy far greater than any one of us could achieve alone. There comes a point in life where you have to decide which matters more: staying safe or becoming who you were meant to be. Comfort is tempting. It whispers promises of security, predictability, and ease. It's the well-worn chair you can sink into without thinking. But comfort has a cost. It can quietly keep you in situations, jobs, relationships, and versions of yourself that no longer serve you. Courage, on the other hand, is uncomfortable. It shakes you, stretches you, and often asks you to stand alone. But courage is where growth lives. Without it, we may never step into the life we're capable of living. Choosing courage over comfort is rarely a dramatic, one-time act. More often, it's a series of small, daily decisions that push you past the edge of what feels safe. It's raising your hand in a meeting when your voice trembles. It's telling the truth in a relationship even when it risks changing everything. It's saying yes to an opportunity you don't feel ready for and trusting that you will grow into it. Each time you choose courage, you expand your capacity to face the unknown, and that expansion is where transformation begins. The danger of staying in comfort too long is that it can disguise itself as happiness. You might feel stable, even content, but deep down there's a quiet H, a knowing that you're meant for something more. That ache is your soul's way of telling you it's time to move. It's not dissatisfaction with life. It's recognition that you've outgrown the space you're in. And if you ignore it long enough, comfort can become a cage. It won't hurt you outright. It will just keep you from ever knowing the fullness of your own potential. Courage requires risk, and risk carries the possibility of failure. That's what makes it so hard. But failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of the path to it. The women who inspire us most are not the ones who played it safe. They are the ones who dared, stumbled, got back up, and kept going. They understood that the temporary discomfort of taking a risk is nothing compared to the lifelong regret of wondering, what if I had tried? Courage demands that we face that fear head on and choose action anyway. It's important to remember that courage doesn't mean you're fearless. In fact, if you're waiting to feel fearless before you act, you might wait your whole life. Courage is moving forward while fear is still sitting beside you. It's recognizing that fear is just a sign you're doing something new, not a signal to turn back. And the beautiful truth is this: every time you act in spite of fear, the grip it has on you loosens just a little more. Eventually, the things that once terrified you become the things that empower you. And here's the reward for choosing courage over comfort. You begin to trust yourself. You build a track record of facing challenges and surviving them. You stop underestimating your own strength. You realize that while comfort may keep you safe, courage gives you a life worth living. It fills your story with moments of bravery, growth, and change. And the more you choose it, the more you inspire others to choose it too, creating a ripple of boldness that reaches further than you can imagine. There is a voice, often quiet but persistent, that tries to convince you that your story doesn't matter. It tells you that your experiences are too ordinary, your struggles too common, your victories too small to be worth sharing. It whispers that someone else has already said it better, lived it bigger, survived something harder. But here's the truth: that voice is lying. No one else has lived your life. No one else has seen the world through your eyes, walked in your exact footsteps, or carried your unique blend of heartbreak, resilience, and hope. Your story matters precisely because it is yours, and there is someone out there who needs to hear it. We underestimate the power of our own experiences because we are too close to them. We forget that the things we've overcome, the lessons we've learned, and the perspectives we've gained are not universal. They are treasures we've gathered along the way. When shared, those treasures can become a lifeline for someone else. A single sentence from your story could be the spark that helps another woman find her strength, take her first step toward change, or simply feel less alone in the world. You may never know the full reach of your words, but that doesn't make them any less valuable. Telling your story is an act of courage. It means exposing parts of yourself that you might have spent years hiding. It means risking judgment, misunderstanding, or even rejection. But it also means opening the door for connection, healing, and transformation. When you speak your truth, you give others permission to speak theirs. And in that shared vulnerability, walls come down, hearts open, and real change begins. Silence protects no one, least of all ourselves. Your story is also your legacy. Long after moments have passed and memories have faded, the stories we tell remain. They become part of the fabric of our families, our communities, and our cultures. When you share where you've been, what you've endured, and how you've grown, you leave behind a map, one that someone else may one day follow when they find themselves lost. In this way, your story doesn't just belong to you, it becomes part of something much bigger. And here's the beauty of owning your story. It allows you to take back the narrative. No longer are you defined by what happened to you or by what others have said about you. You define it. You get to decide how the chapters are told, what lessons are highlighted, and which truths are passed forward. This doesn't erase the pain of the hard moments, but it transforms them into something meaningful something that carries purpose beyond the hurt. So never underestimate the impact of your truth. Whether it's spoken to thousands or whispered to one person across a kitchen table, your story has the power to shift perspectives, inspire action, and plant seeds of hope that may grow for generations. The world doesn't just want your story, it needs it. Because somewhere out there, someone is waiting to hear the exact words only you can say. So here you are, standing in the fullness of your own story, carrying the weight of struggles that shaped you, the beauty of vulnerability that connects you, the boundaries that protect you, the generosity that lifts others, the courage that propels you, and the truth that your story matters. You are not here by accident. You are here because the world needs women exactly like you, women who live with authenticity, speak with conviction, and move through life with both strength and compassion. The world will try to tell you to be quieter, smaller, softer. It will tempt you with comfort over courage, competition over connection, and perfection over truth. But you are too strong to settle for that. You know now that real power doesn't come from pretending to be invincible. It comes from standing in your truth, scars and all, and saying, I am still here. Remember, every challenge you've faced was not meant to break you, but to build you. Every time you chose to be open instead of guarded, you expanded your capacity to love and be loved. Every no you spoke to protect your peace made space for the right yes. Every time you lifted another woman, you lifted yourself. Every risk you took brought you closer to the life you're meant to live. And every chapter of your story, no matter how dark, holds a piece of the light that someone else needs to see. You are proof that strength can be gentle, that vulnerability can be powerful, that courage can be quiet, and that women can rise together without tearing one another down. And when the day comes that you doubt yourself again, and it will, remember this, the world is already better because you are in it, and your presence alone has the power to inspire someone else to keep going. So stand tall, speak boldly, love deeply, and never apologize for the space you take up. You are not just a strong woman, you are a force. And the world needs you now more than ever.